Welcome to another edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary, the series that takes a critical look at Scripture, pointing out its numerous errors, contradictions, and fallacies. This program teaches a kind of Sunday school in reverse by giving you the biblical information that you should have heard but didn't. With millions of Americans hearing a totally one-sided presentation of the Bible, balance is greatly needed. Only when people are given both sides of an issue can a truly objective analysis be possible. And here to provide the alternative perspective is the editor of Biblical Errancy Newsletter, Mr. Dennis McKenzie.
Welcome to the 61st edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary. We're pleased you've joined us. This is the second in our series of commentaries on biblical prophecies. If you'll recall, in our prior program, we discussed 13 prophecies that did not materialize in the manner predicted. We can now continue our listing. 14th, Joshua 8:28 says, Joshua burnt Ai and made it a heap forever, even a desolation to this day, unquote. Yet people live in Ai now and have lived in that city ever since the prophecy was made. 15th, the destruction of Babylon and the permanent removal of its inhabitants was predicted in Jeremiah 50:39-40 and Isaiah 13:19-22, which say, quote, Babylon shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabians pitch their tents there, neither shall the shepherds make their folds there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and satyrs shall dance there. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Unquote. It's important to note that A, there has never been any time since Isaiah when Babylon was uninhabited. People lived there during New Testament times, according to Matthew 1:11, 1:12, 1:17, Acts 7:43, and 1 Peter 5:13, and a few continue doing so today. B, Arabians still visit there. C, shepherds still make their folds there. And D, Babylon has never been known for its dancing satyrs. That's a mythological figure. 16th. Another one of these depopulation predictions is found in Jeremiah 49:33, which says, quote, Hazor shall be a dwelling for dragons and a desolation forever. There shall no man abide there, nor any son of man dwell in it, unquote. People have never stopped living in Hazor and do so today. 17th, Jeremiah 33:17 says, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. And Psalm 89:3-4 says, I have sworn to David my servant, thy seed will I establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations, unquote. God promised there will always be a Davidic king. Yet the Davidic line ended with Zedekiah, and no king returned to the Davidic throne for 450 years. Moreover, what descendant of David is now ruling in the Middle East? 18th. In Isaiah 7:1-7, God told Isaiah to promise Ahaz, king of Judah, that his enemies, Rezin and Pekah, would not harm him. The text states, quote, In the days of Ahaz, king of Judah, Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to wage war against it, but they could not conquer it. And the Lord said to Isaiah, Go forth to meet Ahaz, and say to him, Take heed, be quiet, do not fear, and do not let your heart be faint because of these two smoldering firebrands, who say, let us go up against Judah and terrify it, and let us conquer it for ourselves. It shall not stand, and it shall not come to pass. Unquote. In other words, God told Isaiah to tell Ahaz that he wouldn't be harmed by his two enemies. Yet Ahaz and his forces were slaughtered by Rezin and Pekah, according to 2 Chronicles 28, 5-6, which says, quote, the Lord delivered him, that's Ahaz, into the hand of the king of Syria, and they smote him. And he was also delivered into the hand of the king of Israel, who smote him with a great slaughter. For Pekah slew in Judah 120,000 in one day. Unquote. So clearly, God's promise to Ahaz failed. This prophecy was a farce. 19th. Ezekiel 29:15 says, quote, it's talking about Egypt, shall be the basest of kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nations. For I will diminish them, that they shall no more rule over the nations. Unquote. Yet Egypt has never been the basis of kingdoms, and in the 1820s, Egypt took over and ruled the Sudan, another nation. Twentieth, Deuteronomy 28:43-44 says, quote, the stranger that is within thee, that is, within the Jews, shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Unquote. According to this prophecy, Jews would be borrowers, not lenders. If Jews had always been debtors instead of the great creditors throughout history, Christians would hail this as a fantastic prophecy instead of the failure it is. 21st. Deuteronomy 15:6 says of Israel, quote, thou shalt lend to many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. As a prophecy, this clearly failed. Today, Israel borrows heavily from the United States and has received billions of dollars in grants. 22nd. One of the more comprehensive prophecies is found in several related verses. Genesis 12:3 says, in thee, it's talking about Abraham, shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Genesis 22:18 and 26:4 say, in thy, it's talking again about Abraham, shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. And Genesis 28:14 says, in thee, this time it's talking about Jacob, and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Unquote. The total inaccuracy of these predictions lies in the fact that all of the earth, that all of the nations of the earth have not been blessed through Abraham, Jacob, or their descendants, the Jews. Christians claim that Christ fulfilled this prophecy by giving Christianity to the world. Note, for instance, Acts 3:25-26 and Galatians 3:8-9. But this assumes Christianity has been a blessing, whereas history shows much to the contrary. Even supposing, for argument's sake, that Christianity has been a blessing, the prophecy remains unfulfilled.